Hey everybody, happy Monday. We are live with Jed Ayres, the CEO at ControlUp, who are building a better desktop experience. Jed, how are you?
I am doing great. Happy Monday. It's been an exciting weekend.
Yes, yes, tons of news there. We may go there, we may not, but I look forward to chatting about all things tech, in particular, your career and role mission at ControlUp, a company I'm really intrigued by. Maybe start with some introductions to Jed Ayres and how you're building a better desktop UX.
Yeah, well, I just recently joined ControlUp about 2.5 months ago. And yeah, we are a company that's been around since 2014 and very focused in this somewhat new category, actually, Evan, right? Another great category invented by Gartner with a three-letter acronym, DEX, Digital Employee Experience. And it's really this idea that, every company is being fueled by digital and technology, and certainly with I think it's really born out of hundreds of millions of employees working from home after COVID, and then many of them staying at home, and the world recognizing how important delivering a high fidelity digital experience is to the success of every company. And so really our organization ControlUp is focused on optimizing that.
I love it. Well, share, if you would, a few defining moments on your career path to becoming CEO at ControlUp. You've done a lot in this industry. Maybe give the audience a little bit of background.
Sure. Yeah, I spent about half my career in the solution provider space, so lots of history, kind of dating back to the mid '90s, and reselling PCs and infrastructure around technology. And then in the early 2000s, I got exposed to Citrix. Really this idea of delivering a secure Windows and Windows application through virtual desktop. And so that set my career off on a trajectory in this sort of end user compute space that has been a real gift. And then so I worked for many different resellers. And then in 2014, I joined AppSense, which was
Mhm.
a Goldman Sachs investment around user profiles and security around virtual desktop. And then from there, I joined iGel. We sold the company to what is now AppSense, and I joined iGel in 2016. And that was an amazing 7-year ride of a very small, unknown, urban thin client company, and bring it into the US and fit it into a software company and become really, the key technology for deploying x86 endpoints with a Linux operating system to connect to, cloud deliver PCs and applications. So that was a 7-year that concluded in August.
We're having a
You
little
still
bit of glitchy internet this morning. Probably everyone's logged on the same time, but I think I
uh
got the gist of that. Sorry about that. Um, so tell us about your sort of vision for ControlUp. I mean, you've seen the shift from hardware to software over the course of your career. What is your vision for ControlUp and influencing the direction of our space?
Yeah, well, it doesn't come around too many times in your life where you're actually able to sort of put your fingerprints on an entire category. And this is a
Hmm.
category that's still being shaped and influenced. And I think AI actually will play a big role in actually who wins and truly ends up leading this space. Because essentially what we're doing is collecting and cataloging, an incredible amount of real-time information from the devices, the network, the applications. And so the ability to sort of comb through that data and make real time insights, and actually also prevention and optimization. That's really what I see as the opportunity in the digital employee experience, right? And leading this space is how you're going to take cost out and sort of be this. I think it's been a dream of IT for a long time, Evan, right? To like sort of have this self healing IT. So when we're experiencing what we just experienced a few minutes ago, right, um, where we were having a little bit of a glitch in the network, that you would see that you could make adjustments, and you could really fix things before they become a trouble ticket, and take a lot of human cost and pain out of the equation. And so that's really what excites me when I get up every day, is that I get to do this with a company that built its history on doing that for the virtual. We bought a company in 2020 for physical, and so it's really about bringing those two things together, and leading a category. Um, so.
Fantastic. Well said. And what does it take to be a disruptor in the end user computing space? And what sort of disruption do you envision here over the next medium term years, 2, 3 years ahead?
Well, I think having a strong AI roadmap is going to be the
Mm,
ultimate differentiator, right? The company that can figure out how to really democratize this data in a way that allows for everybody to experience, have a great experience, right? And not today you need a lot of engineering and understanding of these various DEX products to get the most out of the data. So I see that AI is a big piece of it. I'm also a believer in the channel, because that's where I came from, Evan,
mm,
right? So it's really about finding the right partners who can lean in and really help us develop this market and bring their expertise into delivering managed services around this technology. And then it's also about building great alliances, right? Like with some of the big players in this space. So Citrix, VMware, Microsoft, ServiceNow. And that's kind of a playbook that I ran very successfully at iGel. In this space, no one does it alone, right? And so
mm.
even though we have this amazing technology that originated in Israel, right? That building on that and building into some of the major platforms like Intune, like ServiceNow. This is where we see the future of the company.
Fantastic. Um, you joined this summer. What were some of the key factors that attracted you to ControlUp? So what really intrigued you with the company, with the technology, the people, et cetera?
Well, it always starts with great people, right? So I've
Hmm.
met the founders, both amazing humans that have built an incredible company through a sort of culture of empowering smart people to build things at speed and scale. And so that was it was certainly the people and the product, but I also love the sort of, I look at all the other players in this space, and many of them have been sort of taken over by private equity.
Mm,
Have different balance sheets than we do, right? We have a very clean balance sheet. It's all equity, no debt, and the way that the company is held and the shareholders that currently hold the company, really brilliant people that see a big market developing. So we have the largest venture capitalist in Israel. JVP is the largest investor, and then K1, who's would say is sort of a non-standard private equity, California based. They've both invested all through all 4 rounds, and I think the company's on a path to really lead the market. And so when you have the right investors, the right people, the right technology, um, those were the things that attracted to me in a really high growth market. You talk to Gartner about where are they seeing the most inquiries, and DEX is quickly rising into the top 5.
well, the stars are aligning. Well done. And so how's ControlUp sort of uniquely positioned, to enhance digital employee experience, something we all have suffered from in our careers at one time or another? What's the big idea in terms of the elevator pitch, if you will?
Yeah, so I think I got parts of that, Evan. Maybe you could just say it one more time. I got a little bit jumbled on the technology. Sorry.
Yeah.
The
So
connection.
how is ControlUp, uniquely positioned as far
Oh,
as enhancing digital experiences for employees? What's your unique, sort of selling point, as it were?
Yeah, so I think if you go back to the origin of the story of the company was formed in optimizing and remediating and troubleshooting virtual desktop, which I think we can all agree is one of the hardest architectures, because you're virtualizing an entire Windows experience and Windows applications to people wherever they might be. And so this is the origin of the company, is collecting that real time, every 3 second, data, and being able to provide really strong insights into how to optimize that end user experience before it turns into a trouble ticket or a real problem. And so in 2020, the company bought a company that does the same thing on the physical side. It was a small startup, but it's through COVID that company has grown dramatically. We just passed the 1 million seat mark on the deployment of on the physical side, and that's actually where obviously the largest addressable market is. So it's taking some of that same really rich IP that we have and applying it to the physical side, which in the enterprise there's 700 million physical desktops that we can go work to optimize that digital experience. And so again, that's part of why I joined the company also, right? You have 100 million endpoints that run virtual desktops every day, as opposed to the 700 million on the enterprise PC side. So it's really it's about taking really rich data, Evan, and running that through our kind of platform to provide really elegant insights to all levels of the organization around the performance of the endpoints and how it's delivering, and unlocking productivity or not, right? And so, and being able to do that real time, I think is the differentiator for ControlUp, and it always has been.
Nice. So, in addition to using ControlUp, what are some other strategies you could offer up to IT teams who are struggling to resolve desktop issues more rapidly and be proactive around future incidents and other challenges? Because I think you've seen it all. What advice can you give them?
I've seen a lot. I mean, I think I would say part of this is it's about not one tool per se. It's about how you get a stack of technology that really works well together. And so that's where you see what I said earlier, right? Like we just announced a plugin for Intune, right? So I know probably many of your listeners are using Intune. They can now inside of the Chrome plugin, they can they can pull up our real-time performance monitoring data right next to the device inside of Intune. And so they can see it right alongside the Intune data. They can shadow the device. They can actually do remediation actions inside of that unified screen, right? So they're not having to like toggle between one tool to the other. And we offer the same exact integration with ServiceNow. So I think my advice is, it's always, just like in security where you have defense in depth, it's not about, one tool is going to solve all your problems. So I think that would be my advice to a lot of people that are out there, trying to solve these IT challenges, is pick the best in class and make sure that they integrate well together.
Well said. Best of breed. Love it. The other challenge we're all facing, but IT teams in particular, are cost management. Do more with less, reduce spend while improving service quality. How do you get that equation right?
Well, and I think Dex is an interesting, challenge around ROI, because it can be a little squishy, right? You're basically saying, hey, I can reduce the number of trouble tickets you have, but does that really mean you're going to let some of your help desk go? Or I can make your users happier. Is that really going to it's a little bit of a soft ROI calculation, if you will, right? And so I think this is one of the challenges in our space. Oftentimes where I see the clearest sort of savings, Evan, is we take other tools and we actually are able to replace them, right? Whether it's Team Viewer, we offer the ability to shadow devices and do the remediation right inside our tool. So oftentimes I think it's really about consolidation. And I will say, I think there's a lot of room for consolidation. You see sort of some of the UEM tools that are legacy, and you see DEX. There's an intersection there. So I think some of your listeners would probably be surprised at how much a DEX solution can actually deliver that may be redundant with some of the other products that they've purchased. So I would encourage you to look at our solution and then think about where some of these stacks of other technologies could be replaced, and you're getting a richer real-time set of data.
Nice approach. So you've led several companies through growth and acquisition cycles. What's your approach to team building and team leadership and building a resilient organization and such a tumultuous time in tech? What's your sort of approach there?
Well, I think it's first it starts with great amount of transparency, right? In terms of like
Mm,
being able to outline what is your strategy and your vision, and putting that in the framework of a plan that everybody can latch onto.
mm,
But I think the things that culturally have served me the best, Evan, is really building a culture of integrity. And I believe that if you have integrity, and which is not a sometimes thing, right? Especially when you're building a company that has a lot of important intersections with channel partners, solution providers, managed services, distributors, and these alliance partners. You've got to know how to build high velocity partnerships. It starts with integrity. If you have integrity, you can have trust, and trust leads to really good partnerships. And in tech, partnerships can unlock a lot of innovation for customers, right? And so for me, that's how I think about building a high growth team, is instilling those values. And sometimes they can get a little bit distorted in a world where we're all
mm.
chasing a number, and you have kind of this short term challenge of hitting your and beating your numbers every quarter. But I think you as a leader, you got to look in that sort of like 3 to 5 year window, and how you're building value for customers and partners and your own employees and shareholders.
Wonderful advice. Well, on this note, I'm going to ask you, to individual practitioners, maybe IT leaders or CIOs, any advice to them about career development and finding opportunities in the industry in this, difficult time? How do you navigate, or how do you suggest people navigate this new world we find ourselves in?
Well, I mean, I've been an early adopter of LinkedIn, and I really
Mm,
believe that your network is your net worth. And I think about how I ended up at ControlUp, or how I ended up at iGel, and it's about sort of these humble interactions, and these connections that you make, that later can serve you very well. And I think part of it's doing it with somewhat of a servant outreach, right, where you're trying to help others, but you're always connecting, right? I think that's one thing I would just give everybody as advice is you know be connecting. You never know how a certain interaction or a certain connection is going to lead you to your next destination, right? And so that would be the thing I would encourage everybody out there, is to be aggressive in terms of how you connect with people, and then keep those connections alive, especially if you're in a situation where you're looking for a new role. Because I can tell you, we're hiring right now, and we put up posts, and it's very rare that we actually hire through the
mm.
traditional resume that came through. It's usually somebody that's referred by someone else, right, on the team.
Well, it's great advice, and I would agree. It's the power of branding these days so important. It's someone joked, it's not what you know, it's who you know, or who you know, it's who knows you, and that's so true today in this social and digital world. I guess one final thought. I read you are an avid Ironman enthusiast. What's the favorite part? Is it running, biking, or swimming? What's your favorite
I
or
would
least favorite?
I live on Mount Tamalpais in Marin County, so biking is something that I dearly love. I will say, running a German company that was 9-hour time difference, and now an Israeli company 10-hour time difference, and having 4 kids, this doesn't
Oh,
leave a lot of
geez.
room for training. So I actually did my last Ironman in 2016, and so it's been a few years. I was inspired in 2020, right before COVID. I had the Iron Cowboy. If you've seen him, he did 50 Ironmen in 50 days in 50 states. He spoke at our big disrupt and kickoff event, and yeah, this inspired me. I wanted to get back doing Ironman, but of course, COVID got in the way. So hope to get back on the circuit at some point. But yeah, it's certainly a
Well, good
multi.
luck with that. It's never too late. Never too late to get back on the horse. Yeah. Well, thank you, Jed. Thanks so much for joining. I think you're at Microsoft Ignite. Is that right? Or you're one of many shows? What are you looking forward to over the next few weeks as we close out the year?
Well, we're getting ready for a sort of a big reset and kickoff of our own. So we're doing an
Okay.
event in January. So lots of work going into that. We're inviting our channel partners in. So this will be kind of a big moment as we reset the company and some of our overall strategy. But in between, yeah, we just did Ignite, Evan. It was an amazing event for us. We, I think, got more badge scans at Ignite than just about anyone else.
Oh, well
It was
done.
amazing. We got about half of the attendees came by our booth. So that was last week. And then we have AWS reInvent is the first week of December. So that's coming up. We'll be there. I think we're also at a Gartner event next week, the IOPS event. So
Wow.
no shortage of
Talk about
events.
everywhere all at once. No rest for the weary.
Yeah, it's you got to get out there, right? Part of elevating our story and being on shows like yours. We need more people to know about the great things that ControlUp are bringing to the market.
Well, thanks so much for spending the time here, and we'll be following you guys with interest. And thanks everyone for watching. Follow Jed on Twitter, X, and LinkedIn. He's pretty prolific and puts out great content. He's definitely worth a follow. Thanks so much, Jed. And thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to talk to you, and keep up all the great work that you do. We're
Thank
better
you.
for it. Thanks, Evan.
Oh, thanks.